Is trusting a sin? God, I ask you, is trusting a sin? Once I had an immaculate trust, clean and pure, like a waterfall among green leaves. Though one night sufficed to turn the waters of this pure cascade red and muddy. The antonym of black is white. The antonym of white is red. The antonym of red is black. Virtue is the antonym of vice. God is the antonym of Satan. Love is the antonym of hatred. What is the antonym of crime? What is the antonym of crime? Now that I harbored doubts about the virtues I had dependent on, I have lost all comprehension of everything around me. My only resort is hell, the burning hell where I shape the cold, cold metals, snow-cold weapons into eagles. I have constructed my home out of a burning hell. I wash my face with snow still clean. I hear the voice of a little girl singing. God, I ask you, is non-resistance a sin? Is non-resistance a sin? I have neither happiness nor unhappiness. Everything passes, everything passes. I am finally going home to my heaven of a burning hell.
هذا الشارع اللي بتصفي بالباركينج بينقلوكم بهودي اختيارات من البطارية. maybe. يا بوضان لك هذا وين اجرك؟ ايه بالضبط؟
I met Charles long ago. He's a professional craftsman. He works with the iron, you know. And at that time, I was building my house. And I drew to his services to come and help me in things to be done for me here.
وننزل لعنده لأنه صرنا من امبارح هذا عم كذب علي أنا.
I was surprised by his personality, but later I understood that not only does he make, you know, the iron work as a craftsman, but he has studied arts, drawing and painting, and this is why it really made the difference, what I saw from the usual craftsman in iron.
Shar, he is a real artist. He is creative in his work, and my friendship for Shar is from starting our childhood. We were together, living together in the same village. As well, we were at the same school, and from his childhood, he's an artist and creator. Also, he is starting to distinguish himself by doing things new.
During the Jabal War, Harb al-Jabal, they had to leave their village and they went to Dar al-Amar. In Dar al-Amar they were surrounded, they couldn't, nobody could get in or get out. So they had to stay there with so many limited supplies. So they were worried about food, they were worried about surviving. While everybody was keeping its money to buy food and waiting in long lines to buy it, Charles was keeping his money to buy things he needed to do something, to work on something like a sewing kit or I don't know, premier material he could find there. And what's something that is a little bit nice, that they used to eat olive, so he used to use olive seed to make necklace, to make earrings, and to make things they'd pray with, masbaha, rosaire, they would pray with it. So he didn't lose his time.
all of us are the same, age, and the world, especially the mountain where our village is, but they gave us strength. I think this war help us, our generation, not everybody, because we can do anything, anywhere in the world. We have hands, we have faith in our work, unbelievable. If you want, we can stay like working like 24 hours continue. The gifts.
هلا خبرني شو بعمل هذا السوشي ده اللي احنا بنفل بكره.
ايه هلا تمام. انا عن جد عشان $500 تيكت راح راجع.
شو بالبرمجة شو بالهواء.
يعني بالأشرفية رحنا استهدينا بالحدد على شخص ببيع بتعاطى الكونتينرات. شفنا كونتينر عنده وسألته عن حقه واتفقنا وأعطيته حقه وجاب لي إياه على التحويطة. ركزنا هناك وجبنا أمر من شركة الكهرباء ووصلنا الكهرباء. وكان عندي معلمين بالبلد من سوريا عرف اجوا لعندي قلت لهم اذا بتيجوا تشتغلوا هون. صاروا يشتغلوا عندي بالكونتينر.
the war, the human beings live all their time with one single worry, just to stay alive.
July war was very hard on all of us. We were afraid. Even if it wasn't in our street, it was near us. We could, from our balcony, we could see all Dahya being demolished, the flame getting out of them. We could see the fire, we could hear the bombs, especially during nights. So we couldn't sleep, we couldn't think of anything. We were afraid, no work, no jobs, no schools. And the worst, we couldn't know what would happen. We were staying at home to follow the news. But Charles was, he kept on going to his workshop. I always asked him, what are you going to do? There's no work there. What do you do there? So he always answered me, I'm working, I'm working. So after I knew, he was working first on ideas, and after, every time the bombs stopped, he went where the bridges were bombed, and he tried to collect war remains from there. And it was during that period that he did the biggest part of his collection of statues done from war remains.
هي انا ما انضربت لانه كذا شغله يعني مش عم نام. قال له كيف اطلبها؟ قال له حطيت 3 نوبات بطيء اطلب بعض ولا لانه معوض ما كان يطلع على شوي شوي بعد 4 سنين بصير اكثر تمرين. طيب انه احسن نتيجه طلعت؟ زماننا احسن ما حدا زعلان. بدنا احسن ما حدا زعلان. طيب
We were receiving shells, you know. Have you ever heard a shell when it's coming, when it's doing what it's doing, a shell, you know? A shell, what you call bomb, you know, when it's coming, when the Lebanese were, there was a war in Lebanon and sending from place to place, you know, shells. It's an object of destruction to, and as a human being, you don't want even to look at it, you know, when it's, so the big thing that Charles has done is that to turn
something which nobody wants to look at. You know, you would like to forget a shell. He turned it into something you have a pleasure to look at. You know, when you look at Charles' sculpture, you know, you have a pleasure to look at it, and it makes you forget from what it is done. You never think that, you know it at first, that this is done from a shell. But when you look how nice it is, what it represents, you forget the shell and you only think about the art. That's what I like.
He's trying to turn ugliness into beauty. He's trying to say, look what you gave us. Look what you are sending us. Look what I'm sending you back.
انا قاعد بشتغل من عبور فيها هلا حطيناها غلط اتفتح فعلوه طلع انه ذلك الخشب هون شباب فضي لعبه شكل الخشب.
I felt the war like I'm living into the war, and for me it was very astonishing, you know, that today with small, that we had a flight during the wartime, you know, we had a plane coming maybe 3 or 4 times per week between direct flight between Zurich and Beirut. And when you are leaving Beirut, I mean, after 3 hours you are in a completely different world. Of course here there were problems, maybe some bombs, some clashes, people fighting. And as soon as you are on the plane, you arrive to Zurich 3 hours away, only 3 hours, but you are in a completely different world.
You know, selfishness, it is not an issue. We have it in one side and not the other. It exists in every, let's say, in our human nature. But here always we have to struggle for not having the selfishness, is the identity of a person or a group or even maybe everybody trying or looking to have peace in his life. But for our situation, we have a lot of problems, we have a lot of conflicts, we have wars. We are trying to struggle for having it, but the other, maybe they are not living in a direct situation of war. Maybe they cannot feel, but that's the life. We have to do our best, and that's so important to have sympathy toward the other, even if they are not living as our neighbors. We are neighbors in humanity.
I was really attracted to him because he was creating something out of nothing and creating the beauty out of something which is not beauty, which is something really to avoid. Normally, people don't want to look at it even. He makes a beauty out of it. Not a beauty because it's a beauty, but something, it has a meaning. And this is what Charles is.
قبل شو؟
The music, without knowing it, took a big part of my life and Charles' life because I'm a musician. I think it affected him and affected his art because he has done so much work on musicians. He used to take my books and to take pictures he would like and to work on them and to do sculpture out, to get out his ideas, and after they become sculptures. And I think because music is a kind of getaway, it's my getaway. It's a kind of getaway for people. It relaxes you. It's the opposite of the war. I think that's why he has done so much work on this subject. And also my work and being a musician and my point of view affected this also.
just fine, just fine, just fine, just fine.
Or the souvenir we pass is deeply in our heart, you know. And I want to tell you, it was nice for us. It wasn't so bad. Huh? It was the war, but for us, we became strong enough to live, to survive, and to do something nobody can do it, because we live this. When you live the war, you become strong, not in the mind, everything.
بتعيرنا قميصك؟ ليه؟ لأنه هي بايخة. ما الايام كل ما عم بيروح الوقت عم تيجي ايه مثله، يعني نحن عم نساهم. ما كان هدفي، يعني قبل انا عملت معرض قبل منه وبعد، قبل تموز.
Le TÜRKİYE en haut, c'est plat et reste ça.
Est-ce que vous êtes cher? Vous êtes cher? ليش كانوا عندهم بعملوا لهم هوين الدولار؟
هذا الحرب السودان.
I don't believe before, or maybe I believe superficially, that mean not in a shallow way. Yes, and but now being with all this religion, I am a Christian. Knowing a little about Sufism, knowing a little about Buddha, knowing a little about this religion, about Brahma Kumari, because or yoga. So now I know that we are one. I am a Christian, but I have a little Muslim inside, as the Lebanese Muslim has a little Christian inside him. And you can see on the stair, and you cannot see the difference who is Christian, who is Muslim. And this is the reach. That means it's good. It's good for all the world.
ازيك عاد؟ يلا باي باي شيرين. هيدا موسعة. باي.
Italia.
Not now. You just
So no arrivederci now.
We just want to spend a moment to remember Michael Jackson. He was a legend, he always will be. A great person, and I'm sure all of you young people and old will agree with me that it would be beautiful just to remember him for a moment. Never say goodbye. Someone tell me why.
ليك في عندي هلا ست مبرومين اساطير منقوره عن جون بول بدنا نعملهم. قطع انا. جو علينا لهون. رجالك طيب عم بيعترض. نوند بيار عم بيعترض كيف الشاي بخمس نقي. شروق ما
Once upon a time, in a faraway place, disease and death came to dwell among the birds. And none among them believed that they had the power to change this terrible fate. Instead, they hoped that the legendary phoenix, the all-knowing sultan of the birds, who was said to have a nest beyond Kaf Mountain, would come and save them from their troubles. Yet as the days passed, with no sign of the phoenix, they began to doubt his existence, until almost all hope was gone. For a long time they fell further and further into despair, until one day one of the birds found a feather, believed to have fallen from the wings of the majestic phoenix. Buoyed by this hope, all the birds set off towards Kaf Mountain, the fabled home of countless legends, the summit of impossibilities, and a most unreachable place. They were determined to find this wise bird, yet the journey that lay ahead was daunting and no small challenge. To reach Kaf Mountain, the birds knew that they had no option but to fly through 7 valleys. First they had to pass through the Valley of Desire, then all the others. The Valley of Love, the Valley of Artifice, the Valley of Happiness, the Valley of Uniqueness, the Valley of Wonder, and finally, the Valley of Annihilation. Each had its own perils. When eventually the birds who had suffered unbearably reached the Valley of Annihilation, there were so few from each trial that you could count them on the fingers of one hand. Those who reached the final leg of the journey were utterly exhausted. The challenge of the Valley of Annihilation was that it sapped whatever hope and strength remained. They had neither strength to go back, nor hope of finding Kaf Mountain beyond the valley. And so it was that just one of the birds conquered the Valley of Annihilation without losing hope. He reached the mountain only to discover that the phoenix was not there. He looked at the 7 valleys behind him and pondered all that he had suffered. Not till then did he realize that to be the phoenix meant finding the power within oneself to overcome those valleys. He was ready to burn to ashes, and from those ashes to be born again. And then he knew he himself was the phoenix.